Life in a rebuild, guys. You've heard me say that a couple times already. And yeah, if you were able to bear through that game, I respect you a lot because that was one of the ugliest games of the season. And that's saying something because the Raptors have had plenty of those. The Raptors get absolutely obliterated, destroyed, whatever you want to call it. 123 to 89 against the Sacramento Kings. I mean, nobody expected them to win this game. Missing four starters. Emmanuel quickly, he is away from the team dealing with some personal issues. I hope he's okay. Barrett out as well, dealing with personal issues, the passing of his younger brother. No Barnes, no Pirtle. So the Raptors were going to be in very, very tough against this Kings team that clearly head and shoulders better than the Raptors, even if they were at full strength. And the Kings needed to win this game to keep themselves in that top six and avoid the play-in. So the Kings, they did not let up. They absolutely blew the door off this game in the second quarter. It's like they were toying with the Raptors in that first 32 to 27. Raptors only down 5. And then the second quarter, Kings are like, we're not playing games. We're putting this team away as quickly as possible, outscoring the Raptors 36 to 18. And then from that point on, it was basically a wrap. The Kings, they did whatever they wanted. And Domantas Sabonis, he did get a triple-double, and he got his 51st double-double. So he's just having an incredible season. Obviously, with no Pirtle, Raptors thin inside. Jonte Porter did leave this game as well. I mean, Sabonis was going to feast on the glass, and that he did. 17 rebounds. De'Aaron Fox had 20. Malik Monk had 17. He's going to be a free agent this summer. Maybe that's a guy the Raptors can make a run at, but I don't think Monk's going anywhere because he fits this Kings team really, really well. And yeah, Sacramento, I mean, this was just an onslaught by them. They absolutely took out the Raptors, and this was a no doubt about them win. I mean, there was no chance the Raptors were going to win this game, especially with how they were playing. And you look at the Raptors, I mean, Gary Trent Jr., he had 18. And, this is a game that saw Abaji struggle a little bit to finish around the rim. You want to see him get it going there. And Grady Dick struggling once again in starters minutes, 1 of 8, 5 points. And I want to see more from Grady. I've been a little bit disappointed because I thought now that the Raptors are severely shorthanded, this is going to create opportunities for Grady Dick, who's going to see extended minutes to really show us something here as a starter. And last couple of games, he's been struggling. And I really thought he was going to be able to turn the corner. It looked like he was starting to find his groove. Then once he was implemented as a starter, the last 4 games have not been good. Dick unable to find efficiency from the field. So he did have another tough one, minus 16, only 5 points. 1 of 8, 1 of 6 from 3. And these last 13 games for the Raptors, going to be important for guys like Dick because I know a lot of fans have checked out. This team's clearly tanking. They're losing a lot of games, but you still want to see Grady Dick finish up the season strong. You want to see him give you something here because I said, could Grady Dick prove to you in this final 13 games that, he can be a potential starter on this team and maybe even replace a guy like Gary Trent Jr., who is an unrestricted free agent. Right now, we need to see a lot more from Dick, especially given the increased workload. Abaji, same thing. He was 5 of 10, 13 points, but a couple of gimmies around the basket. I want to see him be a better finisher around the basket. He did have 3 steals. You don't have to worry about Abaji's defense, but, can he start to build some momentum and get into a groove offensively? So those are 2 guys in particular I'm looking at because those are 2 guys who are going to remain starters on this basketball team till the end of the season, especially with guys remaining out like Barnes, Barrett, and even quickly. So outside of that, I mean, yeah, the Raptors didn't get much from their bench. I mean, Wara had a nice game. He had some productive minutes early on, did finish with 13 points, 5 of 7 from the field. He did have 5 turnovers, though. And then Ramsey had 11 points in 22 minutes. So those are other guys who are going to be vying for an opportunity on this Raptors team beyond this season, as Ramsey is obviously on his second 10-day contract. And a guy like Jonte Porter, he did leave this game early. Hopefully he'll be back next game. That's another guy vying for some more opportunities down the line. As Freeman did get 21 minutes of action in this, 4 points, 1 of 4 from the field. And this is tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, you guys know what the reality is with this team by now. They've lost 8 games in a row, longest losing streak since the Tampa season of March. So they're the worst team in the NBA. There's no denying that, especially when they're missing 4 starters, when they're playing like this. I'm almost starting to think the Raptors could run the table with L's here, guys, because I know they do have 4 matchups against the likes of the Nets twice and then the Wizards twice. But Raptors put out this personnel and they play like this. Probably not going to win those games, or even if they are going to win those games, max 2, I would say, 1 against either team. So this is a team, they're clearly going for that first round pick. They want to keep it. But the frustrating part to me, guys, and I've said this many times and I'll say it again, I'm still upset over the fact that the Raptors do not have control over their first round picks, because for as bad as this season is, for all the losing that has happened, the Raptors could still miss out on their first round pick if the ping pong balls don't go their way, and that pick could go to San Antonio. So imagine after all this losing, after this disastrous season, the Raptors come up empty handed. I know a lot of people want to see that, because then it's like, okay, you get, the Spurs off your side, you give them the pick that they are owed, and then you can move on. And then at least your 2025, 2026 picks aren't, wrapped up to the Spurs. But I'd rather a team, especially this Raptors team that sucks right now, let's call it for what it is, have the luxury of having all of their future picks, and none of them are tied up. And because they made that trade for Pirtle, it's like either way, this is a not ideal situation for the Raptors to be in, because yeah, if they lose the pick this year and they don't keep the pick, it's like that's very demoralizing, especially since after all this losing that has happened, it's about to be one of the worst Raptors seasons in over a decade. They're clearly tanking, and to not get a pick after all that, that's going to hurt. And then at the same time, if you are able to keep the pick, your 2025 picks are owed to the Spurs. If this team once again struggles and they're flirting with the 7th worst record next season, 8th worst record, then that pick would go to San Antonio. So, the Raptors, if they would want to keep these picks, they would in essence have to be a bottom 6 team for the next couple of seasons. But at the end of the day, you're still banking on a percentage for you to keep your pick, because even if the Raptors are able to get the 6th worst record for this season, there's still only a 46% chance that they keep their pick. So there's no guarantees in this thing. Either way you slice it, it goes back to the fact that the Raptors should have never tied up their pick to Jakob Poeltl. And that has just put this team in a very, very tough position where they got to navigate here. And obviously they're going for the pick, but there's no guarantees they're going to get that pick. And that's the frustrating part in all of this. So they don't want to just reiterate that, as that's something I've been talking about in large as of late. But look, I am team tanked for this season. I want to see the Raptors keep their pick, because I think they need all the help they can get. This is a team, they're without guys. They're clearly out of it. They need something at the end of this disastrous season to latch on to. And I know there's the take out there saying that this is a weak draft. I get that, but there's booms and busts in every draft. So I would rather see the Raptors keep their 2024 first round pick. That's why I'm rooting for the Grizzlies at the time of this recording to get some damn wins, because the Raptors want to get sole possession of the 6th worst record. But either way, I mean, don't expect wins from this Raptors team anytime soon. They got the Thunder on Friday. They lose that, it'll be 9 in a row, and then it'll be an interesting one as they take on the Wizards. So that's it's gonna be some interesting hoops. Probably some of the worst hoops we've seen all season. That's gonna be on Saturday in Washington. And like I said, with the way the Raptors are playing right now, I don't think they can even beat the Wizards. That's how bad they've been looking. So, anyways, guys, that's gonna conclude this post game. Let me know your thoughts, Raptors Nation, about the Raptors pick situation. Hit a like, subscribe. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. I will have the Raptors Nation podcast, by the way, tomorrow, which we recorded today, with a special guest, Ron Gutterman, beat writer of RaptorsNation.com. So definitely want to stay tuned for that. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe.